We are back for another episode of the Ross Bolen podcast. Welcome back to some of you who have been gone for a minute. As I put it on Instagram, RBP is more fun now than ever before. So you have done yourself a phenomenal favor by pressing play today. Just a championship decision through and through. You are truly a leader of humans. Take a second to love yourself for that. Place your right hand over your heart and just rub that heart gently in a circle. Now pat yourself on the back. Good, good. Now give yourself a hug and say, you are enough and should listen to RBP every day.
You are enough and should listen to RBP every day.
Good, good. That's nice. Now take a deep breath, 5 seconds in, 5 seconds out. Take off your shirt. Now we're ready for our show. We're ready for love. Look at you, winner. Jared Borislow, our co-host, is here winning and sinning with us. Jared, how are you, sir?
I'm good. I'm feeling the drip today. I'm wearing, number one, the most expensive, and number two, the swaggiest shirt I own.
Didn't you actually get Dylan to purchase this shirt for you somehow?
A number of people crowdfunded this shirt. I found it half off, I believe, on Saks Fifth Avenue. So then I had like $50 to Saks Fifth Avenue from having an American Express card. So then the rest of it, I was like, please help me buy this. And Dylan chipped in. Shouts to Bluto. Bluto chipped in.
And it's a skeleton riding a motorcycle. What does the cycle say on it?
Robert Graham, the name of the designer.
Ah, cool. Okay.
Yeah,
Shouts
so
to Robert Graham.
Obviously,
Rob Graham.
I'm J-Bone.
One of my besties, Bob Graham.
When I find a piece of skeleton-themed clothing, I cannot resist purchasing it, or at the very least, believing that I might be able to purchase it.
Hey, I'm big on skelly-themed stuff, too. You're not going to believe this, but I actually have skeleton socks on right now. No shit.
You actually do. You also have some skeletons in your closet.
Lots of them. I'm sorry, Mama. Anyway, Jared, you know I like to pull some of the most entertaining and outrageous headlines from the world of media and discuss them here on occasion. Today I have 3 for you. First up, sports. Hashtag sports. J.J. Watt drops most American shoe of all time, or the azcardinals.com version. J.J. Watt, a shoe-in to honor Pat Tillman. They're the Pat Tillmans. You remember Pat Tillman?
Yes.
Right? Well, J.J. Watt is on the Arizona Cardinals now. Pat Tillman, the late NFL defensive back who joined the Army after September 11th and was unfortunately killed by friendly fire in a tragedy our government unsuccessfully tried to cover up, was also an Arizona Cardinal. And J.J. is the closest thing we have to real-life Captain America, so this was inevitable that he make a shoe. The Pat Tillman.
Are you going to cop?
I'm not going to lie to you. I copped the first version of J.J.'s shoe that he dropped with Reebok, and they were expectedly shitty. But the Tillmans, these are tight. They look good. Like, Google them. They look tight. Like, look at the other J.J. Watts, and then look at the Pat Tillmans. At least he got the design right. And apparently his widow, Marie Tillman, I think it is, partly designed the shoe, which will be called the JJ4 Valor.
Oh.
Which is the most J.J. Watt thing
It is.
that has ever occurred, that he drop a shoe, the Pat Tillman, in honor of the late, great Pat Tillman, name it Valor, and have Pat's widow partially design it.
Yeah, you know, it's actually a really smart move by them, because you can't steal this shoe or else you're stolen valor.
But is this not like the ultimate example of stolen valor? He literally named the shoe Valor in honor of a dead man who died in the name, of his country.
That's a great point, and I didn't think about it that way until you just mentioned that, and now that I've reframed it in my head, the fact that the Tillmans are called the JJ4, you would have thought it would be called the Tillman and then be like Tillman X JJ.
The Tillman 1 or something. I don't know, man. This whole situation is just strange.
Yeah, why is JJ needed to co-sign this?
That's what I'm not understanding.
Why can't it just be the Tillman and have JJ not?
Because JJ
involved?
went to Arizona and he's like super into, like, he's JJ. You know how he does, man. You're a Wisconsin guy.
I was 1 year away from seeing him play in college.
He's such a good person that most Wisconsin alumni are ashamed of him because he's annoying.
Yeah, his brother TJ is like a douchier version of him.
That's not possible.
Which people like more. By douchey, I mean like a douchebag, not like a gym rat.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
People like TJ more because he's more of a bad person.
He's, okay, but like douchey in a different way, like you said.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't mean like you look at him and you're like, he makes me feel like a shitty person, which
like
is what JJ is.
He wants to fight people all the time, type of douchebag in the bar guy, like that guy. That's how TJ rubs me, while JJ's like annoying because your grandma likes him more than you.
And then you have Derek, who's just like Curly from the Three Stooges of the bunch.
Derek
Watt.
What's he doing? Selling real estate?
Well, no, he's in the NFL.
No, they're all in the NFL.
He's a fullback.
They're all in the NFL. Have two of them gotten Defensive Player of the Year? Or just, actually, I think the other Watt got ripped.
He did.
JJ was very upset.
TJ did get ripped. TJ had a great season.
Statistically, yeah, it was hard to turn away from the argument there. I don't know. Somebody didn't do as well.
Probably like Aaron Donald or something.
Yeah. Anyway, gray and red, the shoes, they look good. Look them up. There's a quote from JJ. Pat Tillman lived his life in service of a purpose bigger than himself. That is his true legacy. This shoe is a small way to pay tribute to a legendary man by not only honoring him, but also by donating to the foundation established in his name and ensuring that his legacy lives on. The proceeds from this are going to... 100% of JJ's personal proceeds are going to the Pat Tillman Foundation to help the next generation of Tillman scholars and ensure that Pat's legacy continues on. It's just one of those things with JJ where it's like, it's hard for him to do anything that even when it's like raising $30 million for Houston, you're almost rolling your eyes at the same time as you're acknowledging the greatness of the feat because you're just like, this fucking guy.
Yeah.
The Pat Tillmans.
Yeah.
Just it's like, I want to say a new low, but it's like it's not low. It's just like, it's weird.
But he's donating all the money, so it's like.
I know, but it's like, come on.
It's like the Lance Armstrong effect, right? You're like, look how good of a job he's doing, but like,
the shoe is called Valor. It's just ironic, at the very least.
Yeah, it's both a good and bad look for JJ, which is kind of his thing.
In closing, here is a slew of JJ Watt jokes that I wrote on Twitter over the years. Wake up, losers. JJ Watt has already watched middle school game tape on every QB that was drafted and read the entire Bible aloud in Latin. Wake up, losers. JJ Watt has already crushed a solo gym sesh wearing the full uniform of a fallen soldier and eaten a box of power bars. Like, this is a joke I would have written, though.
We're not
Wake up, losers. JJ Watt has just dropped the Pat Tillman as the JJ4 Valor. Like, that's a joke.
And is going to donate $45 million to fallen soldiers.
Yeah, dude, like, the joke became a reality. Like, wake up, losers. JJ Watt has already taught a powerlifting class for toddlers and been spotted front row at 2 Fort Minor concerts.
In one day? Wow. I didn't know Fort Minor was playing in the morning.
Some of these are weird. Wake up, losers. JJ Watt has already saved a hive of honeybees from a bear, made love to a dying nun, and executed a perfect bowel movement. Wake up, losers. JJ Watt has already been to church twice, taught a CrossFit class for the homeless, and played 18 holes with wounded vets. All right, I'm done.
Can you bring this back?
Yeah, I have to.
This was my favorite Twitter bit you ever did.
We only have like one more season or two of JJ probably, so like I have to resurrect it for the next full NFL season and just go all in as an Arizona Cardinals fan, where everyone that was good on the Texans now resides anyway. That's not actively involved in a sexual assault case.
Very, very apt.
Yeah, we're really doing it as a franchise. Which reminds me, the NBA playoffs are finally upon us, which, as I have admitted repeatedly, because the Rockets aren't involved, it kind of allows me to enjoy it more. And just watch and bet on the games with our sponsor, MyBookie.ag, using the code RBP, where you get a huge deposit bonus if you deposit using the code. You also support the show when you use the code on MyBookie.ag. It's an incredible sports betting website, easy access on your phone, on your laptop, wherever, really. All the bets you could possibly want, props, live lines, futures. The casino was awesome. They've been huge supporters of our show through the pandemic. If you bet on sports and you don't use MyBookie.ag, you absolutely should. They've got great service, and you're not only getting action, but supporting the show at the same time. Have fun and gamble responsibly. Hit MyBookie.ag. Use the code RBP to support the show. Get that deposit bonus. I loaded in $1,000, okay? So I had like a shit ton of funny money in my account from our former company working with them, and I wiped it clean and loaded it with just $1,000 pure to play with the NBA playoffs, okay? Because I know the NBA playoffs pretty well. And I've been tweeting out my picks at WR Bolen and like attaching the MyBookie screenshot with my betting ticket on it, my betting slip. And I'm up to $2,391.15, baby.
So people should tail you right now.
Right now, maybe, or it's maybe start fading me because the hot streak could come to an end at any moment.
I don't know. You've been on some hot streaks where I was like, there's no way Ross's bets hit tonight, and then you inevitably post the Grinch meme, and I'm like, oh my God, it hit.
Goddamn Grinch meme, man.
If you know what I'm
Means I
talking
did
about,
good.
every time Ross has a bet that hits, he does the same Grinch meme where the
Where he
Grinch
smiles.
like he goes from a regular face to the biggest, most mischievous smile you've ever seen.
That means I hit a bet on MyBookie.ag using the code RBP. Go now. Next headline from TMZ. Speaking of sports. Sports! Indians' Zach Plesac breaks thumb aggressively taking off shirt. ... Out indefinitely. So where do you think this came from? Take a guess. What do you think happened here?
Okay. I think it's a baseball shirt, I'm imagining. A lot of buttons on those, right? So maybe he was trying to rip his shirt off, but the buttons were way stronger than he thought.
I believe that's exactly what happened.
His thumb got just caught in there.
Yep. Got caught on his chair, apparently, as he was aggressively ripping off his shirt. And I think it was a jersey situation, according to manager Terry Francona.
Caught it on his chair?
Made the bizarre announcement yesterday that Plesac broke his thumb on his throwing hand undressing earlier this week and is now going straight to the injured list. And by undressing, he means, of course, hulking his jersey, which resulted in him hitting a chair, I guess.
Maybe so. That means the buttons were less strong than he thought, because he was able to hulk it open and just
there was a chair.
Oh
I
yeah,
guess.
he must have just.
But I don't. How did the thumb pop out, Elaine? Like,
Hey, he was doing the Fonz thing. Hey,
I just don't. I don't get how the thumbs got involved.
Do you think this
Should've
is a
been more
cover-up?
cat-like. Not had opposable thumb at all. No, this sounds real. Unlike many of the sports injuries in years past that I've been skeptical of.
How about recently Lamar Jackson taking a big poo, then winning the game?
I also recall certain athletes with masseuses. Not Deshaun Watson,
That's where I thought you were going with this.
who that's a whole different deal. God damn, Houston, what the hell? Anyway, a broken digit on his hand could cost him weeks, if not months, of the season, which makes it a very unfortunate incident for a 26-year-old in the prime of his career. But the headline in and of itself is fucking hilarious. Indians' Zach Plesac breaks thumb aggressively taking off shirt. It's like, what if headlines were written about Jared and I's lives like this every time we made a mistake? Like New York Times bestselling author shits pants aggressively farting mid-recording. Or local podcaster injures shoulder aggressively throwing frisbee.
Wait, have you ever actually pooped your pants mid-recording?
Maybe.
Because my headline was actually true.
I'll admit to whether or not I've done that on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast this Friday.
Have you ever gotten a very dumb injury by doing something where you were trying to be cool?
Actually, one of the only times I attained a serious injury was doing something stupid, trying to look cool. You know how, I don't know if y'all had a wrestling team at your high school?
I have no idea.
So wrestling mats are quite large when they unroll them so that the wrestlers can get on there and wrestle with each other, get in the pile. And at our school, they when they stored them, they go on this huge rack. They're rolled up, one on top of the other. And this results in like a 3-stack that's about 15 feet tall or some shit. I don't know. I was a fucking child. I climbed that thing trying to escape a large-breasted individual. And she pulled me down by my foot, and I fractured my forearm.
I feel like you're burying the lead here.
Nope, that's the whole story.
There seems to be...
That really is the whole story. I don't know what the fuck lead I'm burying.
Who were you running away from? And why?
It was a chick I went to like middle school with, or high school with. You don't know her. And frankly, Frank, it's none of your business. Last and final insane.
Well, I was
going to
tell you.
Oh, what?
My time I got injured. One of those injuries that like I haven't noticed the effects of it yet. But
Are you not counting the aggressively throwing the frisbee as an actual?
I don't find that embarrassing. I'm proud of it. It means that I was hucking bees real hard.
Okay, fair.
Real hard, real far.
It does mean you were hucking bees hard as shit. Son.
Notice I said bees and not the F word. Because
what's the F word?
I will only say it while explaining it.
Oh, frisbee.
Frisbee is a trademark owned by the Waymo Corporation. That's why it's called disc golf.
Sure.
We don't say the F word here on this podcast.
Got it. I say it constantly, and you correct me.
So the dumb injury I have, like I said, it hasn't manifested yet. But when I was in college, I was trying to impress some people on a dock on the lake. Shouts to Lake Mendota.
Oh, I feel like I've heard. Yeah. What happened?
Well, I snorted a line of Country Time lemonade powder.
Oh, that's not where I thought that was going. I thought you were going to try to do a backflip and like hit your head on the dock and have to go to the hospital.
Oh my God. Okay,
like a normal fucking person.
There was
not snort Country Time lemonade like, a next level dumbass.
That my septum may become deviated down the line because of
Like,
what I did.
I was a real degenerate piece of shit at one time, but I was never a guy who snorts things that you're not meant to snort that aren't drugs. Like, I definitely snorted things that you weren't meant to snort that were drugs, but like, a guy who snorts pixie sticks and shit, like, I was always like, what's this guy?
What's more embarrassing, the fact that I one time snorted a line of Country Time lemonade, or the fact that I one time snorted a line of a crushed up caffeine pill?
The lemonade. At least the caffeine pill probably made you feel funny.
It didn't.
Oh.
It made me. It didn't at all.
It made your nose bleed?
It was one of those things where, like, hey, you know what? Let's just try it. Like, see if we get amped up. Which,
did you get the drip?
Honestly, Ross, some people might not even say either of those are as bad as the time I was ripping double caffeine vapes through my nose.
Did you get injured? I hurt my nose.
Well, we used to do that on Freeze on Motor Functions. That's how I would stay awake and write the show recaps. Shouts to Freeze on Motor Functions, me and Ross's Westworld podcast. If you need a TV show to watch right now, you should watch Westworld and then listen to Ross and I break down every single episode spoiler-free.
You know what would be way more beneficial to our business is if people listened to and watched literally anything else and oysters, clams, and cockles.
Well, not literally anything
Because our
else.
ad sponsors are active, you doofus.
Last
and final headline of the day. Stopped trains take toll on East End traffic, drawing ire of Houston residents and leaders. Big-time train news here. What are the odds? Right after we take a stance as an anti-train podcast from the Houston Chronicle, Lockwood Drive looked like a parking lot, and a disorganized one at that, south of Harrisburg Tuesday afternoon. Drivers idled in their cars, some stepping out to stretch or use the phone. Delivery drivers, even a metro bus, turned away, taking their chances on a detour through the East End rather than wait on the stopped freight train blocking the intersection. There's no excuse why a train should be blocking the street, said Cecilia Cortez, 44, who just wanted to get home after picking up her 2 kids from school. Look at all the people, just waiting. The situation was the same on the other side of the tracks as drivers and pedestrians waited about 45 minutes before the train finally lurched eastward. The scene and the frustration have become increasingly common in Houston's East End lately, when a train is coming into one of Houston's 6 urban rail yards in or near the East End, and the yard is not ready to welcome it, the train sits. You've been there, Jared? You ever been there? You ever been behind one that's not moving at all?
No.
Oh, I have, because it turns out Houston, we have like more railroads than any fucking city in the United States, apparently. Which I didn't really realize, and maybe is part of the reason that I'm so anti-train is because I've been inundated by them my entire life without even realizing it. I'm going to continue with my Houston Chronicle read. Being the closest communities to the rail yards, which in some cases trace their roots to Houston's founding, where 17 rail yards met the sea, the East End ends up being the stopping point, putting a halt to street traffic. Basically, long story short, it's becoming a bigger and bigger issue, to the point that parked trains are putting people in situations where they're stuck for hours on end without being able to move their vehicles.
We received a video of a RBP listener listening to the podcast while stuck behind a train. Might have been in Houston, now that I think back on it.
Here's some interesting information. The average length of a Union Pacific train, reported each quarter by the company as part of its financial update, was almost 9,250 feet, or 1.75 miles. A train that size can clear an intersection in about 5 minutes, moving at 20 miles per hour. The wait for a train stopped at an intersection, however, easily can exceed 15 minutes as the train sits and slowly roars back to life. And here's where very few people I know have probably been, but I have, in San Marcos. And when one of these motherfuckers gets stopped and then has to get going again, and you go, oh, thank God. Like, no. The end is near, but it's not here. It takes a while for that big locomotive, Thomas, to get going again, you know. Chugga, 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 chugga. It takes a minute before that sound turns into a choo-choo. Choo-choo. Pull that horn. Tweak my nipples. I'm not driving down Lockwood again, Brad Wander said as he waited for a train to move Tuesday afternoon. Wander said he waited for about 25 minutes before growing impatient and looking for a way around. 25 minutes? What a dumbass. 5 minutes, I'm out. I mean, 5 minutes, I'm fucking out. I'm sorry. If it's 5 minutes and I cannot see the end of the train, I'm fucking out. And if people are in the way, they're fucking out.
I think that's a bad move because I cannot see a single scenario in which once I realize, this train's not moving fast, there's no way you could possibly beat it any other way, right? Because by the time you get to the next crossing,
Oh, you're
that
right.
the train's not covering because it's a mile and a half long.
I think I just go to fucking, Wendy's or whatever.
Go home.
Beat off in the parking lot. Kick my own ass in the bathroom. Maybe order a fucking something off the $5 menu. Shovel it down my throat. Throw myself in the trunk. Scream a while.
You would have time.
Why
would you beat off in your car and then go into the bathroom?
I don't know, Jared.
I don't know. I'm
just say things sometimes.
Trying to save your logistics here.
Union Pacific trains.
So, when's the last time that you were stuck behind a stopped train? Because I've never been stuck behind a stopped train.
It's been years. Yeah. It's been years. That's some infuriating shit. Here's some more statistics. Fire trucks and ambulances in the East End were diverted 285 times because of blocked train crossings in 2020.
So they're killing people.
Yeah.
So parked trains are killing people by blocking off access to emergency situations.
Just say it as simply as you can, Jared. Trains are killing people.
Here's an idea. There needs to be a ramp that emergency vehicles can deploy that can have them drive right over on top of the train.
Listen to this. Nationally, bigger trains have led to more complaints over the past decade of stopped trains or trains so long, up to 3 miles long, that seriously delay traffic. Those issues prompted the Federal Railroad Administration to revise its reporting process. The agency in late 2019 unveiled an online map that let people report stopped trains. In the first 6 months, the system received 2,500 reports of blocked crossings, according to the Government Accountability Office. These are all offices that that people work in and do stuff like this that we don't even fucking think about.
And we pay for them.
We pay for that, salary-wise, with our taxes, yeah. As of July 2020, the Federal Railroad Administration investigated 197 crossings out of roughly 130,000 at-grade crossings. So one of the solutions they've come up with is to replace many at-grade crossings with overpasses and underpasses, which, if you and I, not exactly civil engineers, I've never mapped a city. Have you, Jared?
Not a human city.
But if you and I can sit here and pick nits with the general strategy and say, we could go over it or under it, then how did it take until 2020 when we have to install a system that has a reporting process, which we know, fuck's sake, man, who gets stuck at a train and then reports it?
Karen?
So you're talking about a very small percentage of people out of the ones that experience it. Come on, man, I'm not doing that.
Jaron?
It's like when, they fuck up my fast food order at Popeyes, and I know on the bag it says I could call the national office and complain, but I kind of signed up for this.
Yeah. But that sounds like a bad argument for you because you're saying you signed up for the trains, but you certainly did not.
Trains kill people.
Now, I've always wondered this. Think about, if there's, I have an issue with trains and I have an issue with boats, right? Because why would we...
What about planes and automobiles?
No. I don't have an issue with either of those because they're not blocking our roadways, right? Okay, for example, the train crossings. Why do we not make every train crossing a bridge or have the train go underground? Boats. Why do we not make every bridge high enough to not have to be a drawbridge so people don't have to wait?
Yeah, I don't get why there are drawbridges.
Just make the bridge higher.
Why didn't you go up, man? And here's why I ask. I don't know if you've ever been to Galveston. I've just been raining praise down upon how nice the beaches are there. Everybody should visit. If you come to Texas, go to the beaches in Galveston. They're beautiful.
You overdosed on dick there.
I did. I overdosed on cock in a fucking hot tub. And I haven't been back since. But the bridge on the way to Galveston is outrageous. It is, you go up, you're on a slant, a crazy, uncomfortably steep slope.
30 degrees.
For several minutes on the way up this thing. It feels like 15 minutes. It's probably 8. And then you get to the top, and then you plateau, and you go for a while, because you're crossing the goddamn Gulf of Mexico, and then you slope down. And it's just the most nonsense. It's genius, though. That's how every bridge should be. These fucking bridge builders, these goddamn architects, they want to be all... They're just trying to get... They're trying to get too much shine.
The drawbridges in Milwaukee and Chicago are even funnier because instead of being the ones that go up... there's a line in the middle and both sides go up. Those ones, the entire bridge just goes up.
Because everybody knows this is the simplest bridge design because you figure it out when you're fucking 5 years old. Probably more like 3 years old. Up, across. That's a bridge, baby. That's a bridge. And you just go up enough to where everything can go under it and then across and voila, you're good. Now, create some anxiety for drivers, sure. But we never run into what you and I are talking about, which is why the fuck do we need a drawbridge? Results in so many different Fast and the Furious movie stunts that we don't need.
I grew up across a drawbridge my whole life.
You were a drawbridge boy?
Every single day I had to drive across a drawbridge. And I hated it. I hate drawbridges. Do you know how much money drawbridge people make?
Here's what I don't like about
sleep in their drawbridge home on the drawbridge.
And then they draw the bridge.
And all they do is draw the bridge.
I don't like that they can decide at any time, just draw up the bridge, and then none of us can get out.
Mm-hmm.
And then you're stuck.
I mean, I did see recently a man in Florida drove over a drawbridge as it was going up like a Fast and the Furious stunt. It was sick.
Or Triple X.
Yeah.
Shouts to the star of both. What's that guy's name?
Vin Diesel.
Vin Diesel.
How'd you forget Vin Diesel?
Look, man, there's a lot of fucking actors I got to keep track of in Hollywood at this point. He's way down the list. Fucking Groot. Come on. I'm Groot. That's not a role.
Pretty good role for him, though. Making a lot of money.
Jackpot for him. I'm just saying, like, that's the most recent thing he's done that's relevant to me. I'm not a Fast and the Furious guy.
Saving Private Ryan. Which
was
you
dope
watched
as fuck, which I watched recently.
Yeah.
And man, that sniper scene is rough. It's rough. You have Opa Gangnam Style written on your board behind you, and it almost reminds me of that dude's name. I'm not going to say his name, who shall not be said, from Saving Private Ryan. Who lets his boy get stabbed?
Oh, Upham Gangnam Style, sorry. Private Upham is the biggest pussy in the history of cinema.
Yeah, Private Upham Gangnam Style is... He's one of the most hateable characters in the history of film, and I have watched hundreds and hundreds of movies.
He just stands there on the staircase and is like, "Oh man, my boy's dying in there, but I'm a huge pussy, so you know what? I'm just gonna wait." And essentially, the German guy, after he kills his boy, like essentially comes out and just makes out with him and then just dips. Doesn't even kill him. 'Cause he's like, "You're such a non-threat because you wouldn't even save your boy."
Right on the mouth because you're such a little baby boy.
Imagine the scene would be even more amazing.
If they kissed?
If they just fucking made out.
If they just, that ended like on a sunset with them kissing right there, and that was the end of Saving Private Ryan?
Doesn't Upham?
No, and then the Nazi turns to the camera and goes, "Earn this." And that's the end of Saving Private Ryan.
Doesn't Upham shoot that guy at the end? I don't really remember.
I think he like gets semi-redemption, which I hated about that. They like let him do something that makes you sort of go, well, okay, maybe he's like a...
It's like, oh, he has
Avatar
morals.
For the everyman who just would be totally freaked out in a war situation, and you're not supposed to hate him. But no, fuck that.
Let's be honest. Ross and I have spoken many times about how terrible we would fare in war.
But bro, not on an Upham level. That's straight.
Yeah.
That's like accessory to murdering your own dude.
Because essentially, the guy already had that dude. Like all of his energy was put into killing the guy, and so he could just go in there and do anything to the guy.
It's too easy for non-military people to think of these things situationally. Like, what would I do in this situation? But you're not considering the fact that, like, to get to that situation, you have to go through so much shit that changes who you are fundamentally to be fit for that situation.
I don't know, dude. I played a lot of Call of Duty, so I'm pretty much ready for it, right?
Yeah, I don't think we are. You got 0 kills in an hour and a half yesterday.
You didn't have to bring that up.
You brought up Call of Duty, dude. I couldn't not do it at that point. I couldn't not do it.
I got 3 gulag kills, but I will say this: I have never been skunked worse than yesterday. We played for like an hour and a half. I didn't get a single kill. I had like 5 downs, and I just couldn't finish it off. One time, this is the most unbelievable thing ever.
I've been there before several times.
Do you remember when I was gonna kill the dude? We were parachuting in the beginning of the game. I had the dude lined up. He's one shot. And then I broke my legs on the way in because I was so committed to killing this guy.
You wanted it so bad.
I did 199 damage. I was
199.
1 point away.
Broke his legs.
From killing this guy. Broke my legs and I died.
Done. Just an unbelievably sad story. Which is why you always brush your teeth. And take care of your dental hygiene. Today's episode of RBP is brought to you by Quip, makers of the greatest toothbrush and oral care products in all the land and a longtime supporter of this podcast. And now you won't believe this, but they make the greatest gum I've ever tasted. Gum, the unsung hero when it comes to better oral health. Many people think of gum and they think, oh, that's bad for your teeth. No, the American Dental Association recommends chewing sugar-free gum for 20 minutes after meals, and gum is something people chew as a way to relieve stress, curb appetites, deal with anxiety, freshen breath, most importantly. But many people don't realize that gum can also be an integral part of your healthy oral care routine. So Quip, who only a few short years ago reinvented the toothbrush, it's the greatest toothbrush in all the land, Jared. It's not close. I've been using it for 4 years now, probably.
Greatest
The
mouthwash
toothpaste,
too.
also phenomenal. The mouthwash, also phenomenal. The sugar-free gum. They also have a tooth-friendly xylitol with 0 calories. It's sugar-free, and it'll satisfy your taste buds. It's delicious. Has a bunch of different flavors. Comes with a beautiful fucking slim travel-ready dispenser available in 5 colors, metal or plastic. 10 pieces in that bad boy at a time. Slides right in your pocket or your purse or wherever for on-the-go access. Spread good oral health habits this season. Join the over 5 million mouths already using Quip. Get chewing for less than $2 per gum pack. And if you go to getquip.com/RBP right now, you can get a free plastic dispenser with any refill plan. That's a free dispenser at getquip.com/RBP, spelled GETQUIP.com/RBP. Toothbrush, toothpaste, gum, floss, mouthwash. They've got it all. I've got it all. Quip, the good habits company. And you can also find the Quip electric toothbrush, refillable floss, and more in the oral care aisle at your local Walmart. J-Bone, like many people out there, I've long considered myself to be a Skip Bayless hater.
Mm-hmm.
If your only purpose is to spew contrarian takes that enrage the audience and present your co-hosts with the opportunity to call you a dumbass, then there's just not much to stand up for. So most of us probably fall in the category of a hater of an individual like that. But now that I've been exposed to like the real evils of media, like Tucker Carlson, for example, the Skip Baylesses of the sports world don't seem so bad after all. Because, I mean, yes, Skip is a troll, to be sure. But he's a very funny and entertaining troll with an impeccable social media game that kind of flawlessly accompanies his on-screen persona with, like, these shirtless selfies and outrageous videos and fit pics. His fits.
What's his wife's name again?
His shoes, my God. He is a cancer on the sneaker game like I've never seen. Like, it's the stuff, like, when you're, like, 15 and you're buying sneakers and you're trying to figure out what style means, but you just don't have a clue, so you're buying the most audacious. Like, I had Dad-Az at one point that had spinning rims on the side of the shoe. That's just not something I needed, you know?
Do you still have them?
No, absolutely not. They're long gone. This was when I was very young, but like, that's what Skip would buy now if those came out in 2021. That's the type of thing he wears.
It's also funny because Skip's wife's name is Ernestine. So it's always like whenever he's like, my wife Ernestine made a, it just like Skip's wife would have a contrarian name.
Would be named Ernestine.
Yeah.
That's like just a hideous name that very few people could put up with. But frankly, Skip had to find somebody with a shit name, right?
Skip's a bad name.
Because Skip's not a good name either. And everything about him is disturbing. He looks like the ghost of a former steroid user coming back to haunt you on Christmas Eve to teach you what you did wrong. That's what Skip Bayless looks like. So in that one that you refer, the shirtless pic that I'm looking at now, where he's flexing, and his wife clearly took this photo. He's accompanied by the caption, "My wife Ernestine took this as I returned home today. Her pandemic rule: whatever I wear to work goes straight into the washing machine as soon as I walk in the door. On my recent #Skip rides the troller coaster, an undisputed viewer asked if I have lost a step in the gym during the pandemic. No." And then he's just Zoolandering with his tits as hard as they can possibly get. And his neck, whatever that is, the lack of traps. Like, I don't know what Skip's deal is, but it's, when I found out he had this layer to him on social media, it made everything else he does okay with me. Because, like, it's so clearly a character and he's so clearly in on it that we all fucking hate him, and, like, that's the get. Like, I just can't hate that game when I know how it's being executed.
Do you miss the original First Take with Stephen A. and Skip?
Everybody does, right? That was just like such a pure... it was so good that it literally launched both of those dudes into permanent stardom wherever they want to go forever.
They're just so good at arguing with each other because both of them are so hateable that, like, you're always rooting for the other one until the other one talks, and then you're rooting for the other one again.
It was brilliant. It'll be like if either of us ever have to record with anybody else, that'll be like how that works. You know what I'm saying?
Sure.
No, not the argument side of it, but like from a greatness perspective.
Oh yeah, of course.
Yeah.
Which this is a great tie-in, Ross. I don't even know if you knew this, but this Skip Bayless segment ties right in to J-Bones. Sound of the day.
That was the saddest clap I have ever seen.
I'm a little bit close to the mic, and so clapping, I had to move my head out of the way.
You were scared. That's a little better.
Yeah.
It's more acceptable.
Do I have a clap on the board? What if I start?
You probably should get a clap. There you go. So that you don't even have to do it. It's just a perfectly executed. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Because yours was absolutely.
It was bad.
Pathetic and pitiful. All the P words.
Here it is.
Stay off the weed.
Classic Stephen A.
Classic Stephen A. Stephen A. This being probably one of his funniest gifable moments, memeable moments. It's aged poorly, obviously, but just from like if you're like concerned with the marijuana stigma like I am, then it's aged poorly. But it's still hysterical because he's such a boomer now. It's like, what's the fucking difference?
I debated putting in the one, he twice now. He has done it to the point where it's like you were wondering if it was a bit for a while, and then he went on First Take or whatever he's on now and went, "Stay off the weed," and like went high pitch with it.
So he knows.
But he always does the duh at the end.
Duh.
Stay off the weed.
But like, here's the thing. I know Stephen A. has smoked weed.
There's no way he hasn't.
For sure, 1,000,000% that dude has smoked weed. Maybe it wasn't for him, or maybe he just straight up isn't thinking about like the negative side of that. But yeah, athletes smoking weed is the least of my concerns at this point, as far as athletes go, and weed.
You've got a lot of bad athletes in your life.
Inundated by bad athletes, like I am stopped trains.
Not much is going right for you right now.
Trains kill people.
It's true.
Yeah.
That's J-Bones. Sound of the day.
Thank you for that. I have found in the content game that you need the Skip Baylesses of the world out there because they're doing all the dudes like me with semi-normal takes a favor because we can fry them, talk about how we want to fight them, then see them shirtless and question whether or not we should fight them because they would almost certainly beat our ass with old man strength.
Yeah, he could squeeze your head between his
Look at
tits.
those breasts. Those are phenomenal. My God, they're beautiful.
Comment that right now on his Instagram.
They're too shiny. I will. You know I will. Like, now I kind of have to. Which account am I logged into? Uh-oh, the RBP one.
You're still doing it. He's doing it.
Yeah. Those are beautiful, shining breasts. Please go like my comment on Skip's picture from 10 weeks ago, where he is speaking of this circumstance with his wife, Ernestine. Thank you very much. Today's episode of RBP is also brought to you by Stamps.com. If you're still going to the post office and paying full price for postage, you need to stop it. Say thanks to Stamps.com because you don't have to do that anymore. You can mail and ship anytime, anywhere, right from your computer. Send letters, ship packages, pay less, a lot less, with discounted rates from USPS, UPS, and more. Stamps.com saves businesses thousands of hours and tons of money every year. Brings the services of the U.S. Postal Service and UPS right to your computer, right into your home, or right into whatever business you're at. It's a must-have for any and every business, whether you're a small office sending invoices, or you got like a side hustle Etsy shop shipping out orders, or you're like a small business like we are shipping out orders. Obviously, Stamps.com is phenomenal for getting everything handled with ease. Simply use your computer to print official U.S. postage 24/7 for any letter, any package, any class of mail, anywhere you want to send. Once your mail is ready, just schedule a pickup or drop it off. It's that simple. With Stamps.com, you can get discounts up to 40% off post office rates, up to 66% off UPS shipping rates. Not to mention, Stamps.com is a fraction of the cost of those expensive postage meters. It's a no-brainer, saving you time and money. No wonder nearly 1 million small businesses already use Stamps.com. Stop wasting time going to the post office and go to Stamps.com instead. There's no risk, and with our promo code RBP, you get a special offer. Use the promo code RBP, 4-week trial, plus free postage and a digital scale. Stamps.com. No long-term commitments or contracts. Just go to Stamps.com today. Click on the microphone at the top of the homepage and type in RBP to make sure that our show gets credit for sending you there. That's how this game works. Stamps.com. Never go to the post office. Again, code RBP.
Yeah, the post office is not the move anymore.
It is not. Don't go there. As we have discussed a couple times here and pretty extensively on patreon.com/Ross Bolen podcast, May is Mental Health Awareness Month. And May is coming to a close. It ends on Monday. So I thought we'd close out today's show by closing out Mental Health Awareness Month officially with a little parting message from me to you because, frankly, Monday's episode could drop in the afternoon. That doesn't give you many... It could be next month already by then. And then Mental Health Awareness Month is gone. And I'm aged. And I don't like that. I've got enough of that going on. So maybe you don't take mental health seriously. Maybe you're one of the people who stopped listening in 2020 because I wouldn't shut up about mental health and politics. But you are a human being, and your mental health is just as important as your physical health. So while we won't be talking about it as often as we once did on the show, that's why I still drop in reminders as frequently as I can on social media that you are not alone, and why on occasion we will still discuss it here, because we should care about each other and each other's happiness, just as humans. And like, I'm on week 3 now of weaning off an antidepressant I've been taking for a few years, and it's been a very interesting ride, to say the least. Like, I'll just say I have a much more full understanding of like mental health and the relationship between medicine and therapy and trauma and healing and grief and the way all that stuff is treated in this country today as a result of the last decade of being in and out of psychiatry and therapy and with panic disorder and dealing with the different stuff I have related to substance abuse as well. And that enables me to do what I do for a living more effectively. Thank you for being a part of that, because it allows me to empower myself with these things that I've struggled with. And I just wanted to say thank you one more time. So take care of yourselves. Take care of your people. You deserve it. They deserve it. We all deserve a world where we look out for each other. I was again, like this weaning off of the SSRI thing has been about what I expected in terms of an ass beating. And on the couch earlier, I was just like bumming because I was going to work out and then I didn't want to work out. I was like, I feel like shit. I was texting my high school group text, some of my best friends from high school, and I was like, I don't even want to fucking work out, dude. This is so miserable. And my buddy was like, just go for a run. And he said, maybe it'll make you feel better. And I thought that was such a funny ass way of looking at it. Like, maybe it will make me feel better. I don't fucking know.
I went for a run yesterday. It made me feel better.
I mean, and that's kind of like the way I'm going to try to evaluate more things. Like, is this going to make me feel better? Easy decision then, right? I also went for that run, and I do feel better, but I will say, I've been running a jogger, if you will, for probably 15 years, man, since I was in high school baseball, okay? My dad is a runner, still, with his old ass. Shouts to Steve. And there's something about it that is very freeing and is very beneficial to mental health. If you struggle with mental health issues, I could not more highly recommend running. But I remember being a younger man and running around and seeing old dudes running and being like, God damn, I never want to look like that. Just like a decrepit Frankenstein.
Skip
like,
Bayless.
The feet are coming a half inch off the ground. There's not a lot of athleticism to this thing with these old men and their running. And I was running today and I noticed, like I'm there at 33 years old. Like, I have an old man running style. Like, there is no longer like a lot of athletic shit going on, man. It's a pretty standard, like, my knees kind of hurt and there's this thing in my back and like I didn't sleep great last night, you know, old people shit. And it was like a very real moment. I feel like I hit another level of aging today, in a good way, like in a way that I'm cool with it. But
It doesn't sound very good, to be honest with you.
well, frankly, in this case, like the lesson is like, stop running on concrete 3 times a week. This is probably really bad for your knees, and you're not 15 anymore. You're 33. I'm still 33, right? Nobody knows. Who's to say?
Was your birthday in May?
34? Am I 34? Oh, am I about to turn 34? I think I'm about to turn 34. Dude,
I thought you were
don't even
32.
know. This is what happens when you get divorced during a pandemic. You don't even know how fucking old you are.
I thought you were 32.
No, I'm definitely not 32. I might be 34, though. The only person who can really say is my mom.
We'll find out after the break.
That'll do it for today's show, but we'll be back on Friday with another ad-free exclusive edition of RBP on patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. The long road back to 1,000 patrons is almost complete. We were once
so close
at over 1,500, and we need to get back to like double that so that we can grow the show and the company, and that Jared and I Have spent a lot of time revamping the Patreon page big time, so get in there, get more RBP, more mental health minisodes, more columns, more Billy and the Bone Man. Patreon.com/Ross Bolen Podcast. Again, another ad-free edition of this show dropping exclusively there on Friday, just like every Friday. Happy birthday to Bryce Jolly. We may have already done that, but if so, it's a double dipper. That's how it goes sometimes. We got this message from a fan. I'd love a birthday shout-out coming up June 16th for my buddy, Hand, who is an RBP OG Patreon member, period. All it said, happy birthday to Hand.
We actually did this shout out on Monday, the Hand one.
Hand?
Yeah.
Did we really?
But as an OG, I think he deserves 2 shout outs.
I'm in one of these like Men in Black situations now where it's like somebody's coming in at bed and when I'm in bed at midnight and like fucking zapping me, which is normal for people who drink, but I don't drink. So
it's me. I'm going into your bedroom at night and just zapping you with that taser.
Here come the Men in Black. Follow us on social medias. Bruce didn't like that at all. He did not like the singing. Bruce and Bella, they sit awkwardly as the third and fourth co-hosts of the show, directly to Jared's right and my left while we record. I mean, they're pretty actively involved. Like, they stay up, they watch Jared pretty much the whole time.
So they think I'm going to attack you or something.
Yeah, they're keeping me safe. Like our stuff on social media, share it, tag us in your stories or TikToks or whatever the shit, fulfill your legal obligations. You know them after 400 episodes.
Please
401 is done.
Tell a friend about the show.
Tell a friend.
And then send us a screenshot of you telling a friend.
And
in
a
a
creative way.
We'll post it on the socials.
It doesn't have to be creative. You could just say,
you could just
hey,
say,
you should listen to the Ross Bolen podcast. I think you'll really enjoy it. Billy and the Bone Man are funny.
There's no easier way to get posted to the RBP Instagram story than to literally just to do that screenshot, send it. You're up there automatically.
Yeah.
Auto post.
Just tell them it's Billy and the Bone Man from TikTok. They'll know who sent you. All right, 401 is actually done now. You are not alone. I'm Ron Bowler. Eyewitness News.
Stay off the weed.